Here you see the optimal working of the ponds, a cascade of ponds, where you try to capture as much as possible water with the extra swale arms. This is, by the way, all created by help with local people who really have knowledge about the terrain. So you see the water stopping, infiltrating, going to the second one, stopping, infiltrating. And at the end, you see that it really moves back into the river and then continues the flow. Before this, it was just runoff water. And now you capture it several times. Water has time to sink in. You catch the sediment. Probably in 2 years' time, this will all be green. And you have the possibility to build here beautiful trees on the slopes.
Here you can see that we made a big mistake in the beginning. We didn't know it was a mistake. We started with planting the trees. They are now already adult trees, but this fact makes it more difficult at this moment because we have to add in new waterworks.
But it's extremely complicated to fit them in between your adult trees and to, let's say, to slow down the water. So that was one of, I think, the biggest mistakes we made. So please do the right order. Stop tilling, do your water harvesting, then do your cover crops, then start taking care of your weeds, and then start planting trees, and not in the wrong order.
But this is how it works. From mistakes you learn, and every year we ask ourselves, what kind of mistakes do we make this year, and what will we learn about this?
Here you see an example of the water catchment where it was complicated for us because this is the border, this is the neighbor, this is our land. We couldn't build the water catchment on this side. So what we decided is we build the water catchment on this side. First you see here a pond, just for infiltration. Then the water will go by a pipe to another pond for infiltration. And we will show you later on, there will be a small river. And then we catch the water again in another pond. So instead of just a runoff, we have captured the water 3 times, the same water, and it all has time to infiltrate in the ground. If you follow the water where we were just standing, it will follow this small stream. It's coming in here, then it's coming in the pond, and there at the end is an exit again, and then it will flow down again to the Rio Mira. So you see the irrigation pond, and the effect of the irrigation pond is that the water level rises here much higher, and you see here the lush field. So we had here the chance to create a small fruit garden, and also at the end of the fruit garden we had an old well, and at this moment the water level is way better restored in this part.
This valley, it looks now very green and very lush, but this was a very dry valley. It didn't even have a lot of grasses in winter time. I can show you the difference. You can see this here with a lot of grasses and a lot of things. And now we go a little bit uphill. There you don't have the effect of the swale. And then look at the soil here. This is the difference. So it makes a huge difference. This was the whole valley, was exactly like this. So the swales, they really make a big difference. In the beginning we made a mistake. We dug the swales and we immediately planted the trees. But a swale needs a couple of years time to collect water, especially in the beginning. In the beginning we made the swales, but we had 2 or 3 years of really heavy drought, and then it's difficult for the swales to catch water and to transport it a little bit more down. So what we do now is we make the swales, and then we wait 1 or 2 years before we plant trees. If you look at the internet, that's what they say. You dig a swale and you plant the trees. So that's what we did in the beginning, but now we dug the swale, we wait 1 or 2 years, and then we start planting the trees. And this, for an example, is one that we did last year. So it doesn't have any trees just below now. just start collecting water, infiltrating, and slowly the water will move downhill underneath the soil. It will move downhill, and then you can start planting. But if you do it immediately, no, that doesn't work. But that's one of the things that you learn when you observe, and you, a lot of things we just try, and a lot of things doesn't work. You see all kind of videos on the internet, and they say, oh, this and this and this. I think it can work if you are in a climate that is not so dry as here. But here you first have to wait a couple of years before you have more water inside your soil, and then you can start planting. In the beginning, not. Here you can easily see how it was before. The water just comes down, hill down, and disappears. It goes fast downhill. You see it here. And this is what we changed. This is how you harvest the water. You see already that the water comes down from the road. We catch it, we send it to the side of the road. We try to irrigate this direction. It comes in here. It gets the time to slow down. If this one is full, so we have already one on top. Then we have a second one over here, the third one over here. If this one is full, then the water goes in here, you see, in here, then it goes underneath the road, goes to the other side of the valley, and in that valley we already made a lot of other swales, I think around 10 or more, and that also every time it slows down the water, goes further on, slows down the water, goes further on. The purpose is not that you want to keep all the water on your land, because full is full. If your soil has enough water, then it's also necessary that the water can flow to the, for example, the river that we have down from our land, and that feeds another river and like that. So it is, everything in nature is like going in a circle, and it's a circular movement, and this is also. So you want to slow it down so it gets the time to sink in, but all what you don't need has to go further on to another part of nature that also need that water. So it is in a circle. Before we did these kind of things, here was nothing. There was not even grass growing here. So now you see what this simple thing does to nature. What we do on a rainy day, then we are outside, just looking where is the water going, where is it flowing. Like for example here, you see that the water is coming over the streets, and normally it would go downwards. We do with a little hacker, we make here a shortcut, so we rearrange the waterway, and then it goes in here. So normally when it rains, you are outside looking, where's the water going, where can I help it to go in the direction where you want to have the water.
When we started to plant trees, we did it random. So we randomly in the landscape planted trees, and then in the next years, to give them a chance to come through the first hot summers, we had to give them water by buckets, and this was practically impossible to keep doing, let's say, with the two of us, and with some little help, but it was technically physically impossible. So we stopped with that way, because also the succession was maybe 5 or maximum 10 out of 100 was possible to get through. So we stopped with this way of working. So since the last 3 years, we only plant on a water line. So what we do is we first roll out a tube where we can connect it to a pump or to a natural height level water tank, which is higher up in the field. So here you see the water tube. So we first roll out the tube. And when we have the tube in the line, we just start planting all kind of species to keep them mixed. It is not as nice because it's not this random planting, but we see this as the only way. So we make lines, we plant on the lines, and we give them about 3 years water. And this succession rate is at least it's 80 to 90%. You still lose them to animals, to wasps, we all kind of things will still destroy a couple of trees, but we have a very, very high succession rate when you give them about 3 years on the water. It's just a dripping system, very simple. It's a very simple dripping system. You have a tube. You take a small tube. You put a drip on it. You can even clean it, and it gets its water. And that's the way how we plant them at this moment. In the high areas of our land, we tried for years to put new trees in. A lot of experiments, and practically all of them died. So that was quite frustrating. So we had the chance to buy 258 olive trees from a farmer who stopped with his olive trees. So they were digged out. They were, together with the root system, replanted. So we replanted on the top of the hills to get the system faster, let's say, moving. These ones are doing very well. But even the ones which we thought have a very difficult time are picking up. I will show you one. Come. So even the ones who had a very hard time during the replanting, you see that they are picking up very well. You only need, let's say, to see that they are alive, and they will flourish. There you see another one. And with this one leaf, we are very happy.
We put the olive trees on top of the hills because it's very difficult to get young trees started here. And you need, if you look at the water circle that you want to accomplish, then you need that your hilltops have like a kind of a head on top. And if these adult trees start growing and they have their leaves, if it starts raining, the rain will fall on the leaves, and the leaves will make those really big drops into smaller drops. So the smaller drops are more easy to infiltrate in the ground. So trees on top of your hill is really something you need for your water system to infiltrate in the ground. And of course the leaves from these trees give a lot of shadow, and where shadow is, other plants can start growing again in summer. So it has a lot of benefits to put these in top, and if you have to wait for the young ones to get adult trees, it will take you 25 years or more. And this goes much, much more fast. And you save a tree. This is a really nice example of how nature recovered by itself. This is wild pear. We don't irrigate, nothing, we don't do anything. This is just planted by birds. And if you look here very close, you can see already new ones coming here. This is all native plants coming by itself. So nature is taking over. It's helping us. This is how it should be. Over there, everywhere you see. That's what we want. The wild pears is a really easy one. It is native in this area. It really doesn't need anything, it just grows. They don't need any irrigation. They have flowering now this period of the year, so in springtime. The only thing that we do that if the pears are on, that's in I think late summer, we just take the small pears, you cannot eat them, and we just throw them over the land everywhere, spread them as much as possible to have more areas with these kind of wild pear. But to be honest, again, the birds are much faster and much better in it than we are, but still we help a little bit. This is a beautiful example how wildlife is helping us. This is Pistache lenticus. It's a native tree from here, a bush. This ones we really want to get back on the land. In the beginning I planted them, but now I don't do this anymore because the birds and wildlife take care of this one, and they can do it much faster and much better than we do. And it's now already for the berries, so it will take a couple of weeks more, but then it will be full of food for birds again, and this is how it works and how it should work. This is one of the cork oaks we planted ourselves, I think now 19 years ago, something like that. This area was for many years covered with brambles, and we didn't even know that the trees were there anymore because it was a coverage from, I think, at least 3 meters high. And 2-3 years ago we cleaned the whole valley over here, and this came out of the brambles. We saw a very, very healthy cork trees, a lot of them. They were doing better than all the other ones who were in the field. So they were covered with brambles, but still doing much better than all the other ones. Other nice detail to see is that how the birds help our planting. They come, sit in the tree, and they plant a young native one just on the foot of an adult cork tree. So this is how it works. This is when nature takes over. This tree is 23 years old now. This will die because it's almost at the end of its life. And what you see, if normally you don't see any young ones around this tree because it doesn't happen. If there are young ones, they will die in summer. But now she let the last, this one is I think 2 years old now, 2 or 3 years old. And this one is her daughter. So she will leave this one and this will grow up, and when she is not here anymore, the next one is already here, and she took care of it herself. So it's nice how nature works. You see also this bush again from the trees, or from the birds that are in the tree. So this, you see that there's coverage. And again, if you feel here how much nice the soil is already, this is the reason why this kind of trees I really like to put somewhere in the middle. And in a couple of weeks it will be one big yellow flower. Here you see a wild pear, and here you see a wild pear who has been grafted with an apple. Why do we do this? Because the wild pear, he doesn't need any irrigation. He is really adapted to this kind of climate. He doesn't need any extra water. He's strong. He's doing really well. And if you want a fruit tree like an apple, and you want it on a base that is really strong and doesn't need a lot of extra water, you grafted them on a wild pear because it's from the same kind of family. And then the apple, this one, never had any water, extra water, not even in summer. So you see that because he used the roots from the wild pear, and you see he's doing really well. And this is a kind of method that I have to learn more about it. I don't know exactly how to do it. We did it, I think now 40 times, and some of them are doing well, some of them are not so good. So that's one of the things I really want to learn for the future, to get more use of these kind of trees so that you can have again more differentiation in the trees that you have here around. And this is a practice that especially the old people here in this area, they can do it really well. They make a cut in here, they put a branch of the apple in here, then they put mud on top of it, they put a little piece of cloth around it so it doesn't dry out. No artificial things, no chemicals, nothing, mud, cloth and a branch, and it works. It's unbelievable, they are so good in it. So that's really something I need to learn more about. This one, for me, this is really something that you can see that the system works. This tree, planted I think 6 years ago, it's Grevillea. It's a tree that that brings a lot of milk, a lot of natural material. And normally when you walk here around, the ground is really hard. You feel it is like a stone. It's like if you walk on beton or something. And here, because of all the milk that the tree already gave, you feel it's like a little bit of, you can jump, you can feel it's soft. It is with a lot of material. And if you look here at the area, here, look at this. This is what we want to create. This kind of things of material. You see that the soil here is already more black. There's a lot of more natural material inside. This is what we do. So a lot of species I choose because they give a lot of milk and they make the system go faster than only, for an example, pine tree or something like this. This is really good for building up soil. Maybe interesting to tell, these olive trees, they were really old ones. They came from a farm that didn't want to use them anymore, so they want to take them out. And we bought them and replaced them here because they have really problems with drying out in the first couple of summers. We covered this area with wool because now it looks like that we have a lot of milk and natural material to do some milking around the tree. But in summer that's really a problem. We don't have enough stuff to really milk all the plants that we have. So we use now the wool. It's really just normal sheep wool, full of sheep shit and all the other things. We cover it so that in summer it has a layer for drying out, for the wind, for the sun, and it is organic material because it's a really good fertilizer for the young tree, for the young or even the old trees, and it works really perfect. This is vetiver grass. It's an experiment we did. We started with it 2 years ago. Why did we do it? It is an exotic grass, but it is a non-invasive grass. It has a very good root system that goes very deep, till 4 meters I think. Keeps the soil together. And we use it as milk material, so you cut it and it starts growing again. This is now just before cutting, so you see already that it's necessary because this is from the frost from winter. And another thing that we try to do with this one is we make kind of lines with these grasses grown very close to each other, so that it is like a green fire resistant wall that we put on hills that are vulnerable for fire that comes from the valleys up and go up to the hills. Here you have the water from the swale, and here you see that the grass is really doing well. It doesn't do so well if you have a part of the land where you don't have the swales. Then you have to irrigate it a little bit because otherwise it won't work so much. But what we do now, if you do it as a firewall, we make first a swale, and after the swale we put this so that you don't have to irrigate it, and you still have in summer a very green, because the grass will stay very green in summer, and what is very green has water inside, so it doesn't burn so easily as dry material like this. And it works really well. So till now we are very happy with this. It was an experiment and it worked out well. Not all do.
This is also an important step. This was done last week with the grandchildren. Mulching material, and we use this to let's say give the plants much more protection against the sun, and give them some natural ingredients to help the soil improve.
This is a nice thing to see. This one, Grevillea, and this one, and this one. They are in front of the swale. They were all planted October 2023. This also, but this is already half in the swale. Gets already a lot more water, so you see the difference. That one is like this. This one is like this. For an example, this one here also, and this one, and that one. from October 23. Think it was like something like this. This is after the swale, and in the thing over there it's before the swale. And you never know if there's a rock beneath the thing where you put them in. So it's very difficult to say that one plant will do it or it won't. It depends on a lot of different things. So this one is doing very well. The other one is surviving, will cost another couple of years, but also doing well. But it takes more patience. This is a luxury problem that we have now. This one was planted 2 years ago. He grew much too fast because he's now in this little stream that we have now with the water flow, and it grows too fast. And now we had a lot of rain, so it's very, very wet, and we had a pole with it, but the pole was really going down because of the water, and now this one goes up. So if it's more dry, we will replace a pole so that it can stand up again. This is Grevillea. It's silver oak from Australia. It's one of the species that I choose because it comes from Australia, from almost the same climate area as that we have here, and they are doing really well. And I use them as a new species for pioneer plant, and they really doing well. A little bit too well. What you see is that I use square pots, not the round ones, because I don't want tap roots to, when they reach the bottom of a pot, they start going round and round and round. And if you have a square pot, then you don't have this risk. The other risk that you still have is that they go up and down and up and down. But that's also the reason why I put my young seedlings directly in a long and in a big pot, so that they have from the beginning, they have all the space that they will need, and that you don't have a lot of damage from the taproot, because the taproot is really strong. The first little point on the taproot is really strong, can break a rock, and that one is the one that you want to save and that you don't want to disturb and not want to destroy. I just take them out when they are very young, the seedlings, and I put them directly in this kind of a pot. I will show you how small that the roots are then, and I will do it exactly in. Normally I have something like this.
Yeah.
You see, you already have a really small root system. This is the...
Yeah, that's it.
Then this one already goes in, very small, but doing well. And now this one can stay in till October, when we start planting them. I don't have to disturb it anymore. I don't make any damage. For me this works best. I can show you the result from little seedlings that are already a couple of weeks in. I will take one. Here you see already one that is in now, I think 6 to 8 weeks, something like this. And they were in my greenhouse, but I took them out this morning because the greenhouse is really wet now. A lot of humidity inside, and I see that the snails are coming in. This kind of tree, I just put it outside because we don't have any frost anymore. So I think this one can handle it. The only thing that I do then is put them in a tube. It's like a little private house that they have, and that's protect them for sun and for the wind. And you will see, in the beginning I also didn't do it. I kept them here and I kept them in the shadow, but now I do it like this the last years, and I had really good results with these ones. It starts growing, and you will see, and they are open in the sun, and you will see that when they are big enough that they come out, in the beginning, the leaves that come out first, they will have a little bit sunburn, because then it's already hot here. And then it's only the beginning, and then afterwards they are already used to the sun and the climate, and they are doing well. And when I just took them here in the shadow for a longer period, then I had a lot of problems with the plants, that they had to get used to the climate and the sun. So I just take them outside in this little thing, and it works perfect. You see, they go in like this, very small. After about 10 weeks, they are already like this. Some species, and not all of them. Some are growing faster than other ones. This is about 10 weeks. It will stay in this pot till October, because our planting season is in October. I put them outside, and they start growing and growing and growing, and then they come out of the tube. And some species, when we plant them in October, some of them will be like this already. So it depends on what kind of tree you have, but especially this one is one that will be bigger and will come out something like this. These are all seedlings. I collect the seed also myself. I do it here in the south of Portugal, and then you know that they all have the right genetic material. They are already used to this climate. They are used at not a lot of water, and if you buy seeds, they can come from all over the world, and you don't know what kind of genetic material you bring in. I start collecting the seeds myself, then I prepare the seeds, all kind of different ways to do it, and then make young trees of it, and afterwards take care of them the whole summer, of course, and then in October you plant them out, and then these little babies are completely from this area, and you know what they have no chemicals, there's nothing strange things done with it. It's without any rubbish or any damage. So yeah, I'm proud of it. I really like it. I think this is work for the soul. You have to write down everything very carefully, because you have so many small ones, and in the beginning they all look a lot the same. So this is really important. In the beginning I was not so strict in it, but now I am. In the beginning it was really special to find out how to treat every different species of seed to let it sprout, because it's not always easy to let them sprout. But now you have more experience, so now you know. I wrote everything down, so now I know, okay, this species I have to heat it up, or I have to put it in cold for a longer period, or first in heat, in cold, and later heat it up. So it depends. Oh, forgot the box. You see that tree over there? That's a mimosa, and it's not an invasive one, and it's really doing well. It's not. This tree is about 23 years old, so it is a fast grower. It gives a lot of shade, and it gives a lot of mulch, but it's very difficult to have it from seeds. So in a certain kind of period of the year, you can find some seedlings, for example here. What I do then, if it's very wet, and this is already grown a lot, so I'm very careful taking it out. And now I already have a big seedling, and I pot this up, and this will be one of the trees that I will start planting in October. They don't have a really developed root system, so I can put them up in a pot, and then in October it will be very strong, and then I can plant it out. If I do it like this, it won't survive. So all these seedlings that are here now at the moment, if I don't take them out between now and 3 or 4 weeks, they will all die. But if I take them out, they're already this big, and I have them in a pot. You see, I'm again very, very careful with the roots. Because if you are in an area that is so dry as we are here, then the root system is really, really important. But look at this. I already have a really nice plant from nature, with a little bit care for me afterwards. Ta-da! Because we do rain irrigation, and I'm at my maximum of planting for also this year. So next year I can make new ones, because then the old trees have been 3 years on irrigation, and then I can plant a lot of new ones. And this year I can't do it myself, but for me it's not important where the tree is planted. So if they are planted here at our place or somewhere else. So what I have decided this year, I have a lot of knowledge about the seedlings and how to get the seeds sprout and have the seedlings coming up. So I thought it's maybe a little bit pity if this knowledge doesn't get used. So I decided that I do it a little bit more early than normally, and then I will have in May, I think I will have a couple of days that I tell people that they can come to get the seedlings for only the price that cost the sand and the pots, and if they want the tubes and the bamboo thing, and then they take them with them in May. They take care of them the whole summer, and then they can plant them in their own gardens or piece of land, and they have their own trees. Because I want to make clear that it is possible to plant a tree everywhere. It's not that you have to have a big piece of land and that you have to plant hundreds of thousands of trees like we do every year. But if every person would plant 10 new young trees every year, you have done the footprint for yourself for 1 year. So, and what is 10 little new trees for a person? Everybody can take care of 10 new trees every year. So, and that would make already a big, big difference, I think. So, if they are planted here, somewhere else, for me it doesn't make any difference. If they are just planted, that's the really important thing. They had really a difficult time before winter, and now you see that they are recovering, all of them, and they are doing really well. Wait, I show you. Ta-da! These already makes here, this already has a T. So I take one off so that the growth can concentrate in one side. I do that just before we plant them already. Here, now it looks already a little bit more like a tree. Yeah, it's okay. It goes up, protection for sun and for wind. And this one will be a little bit more complicated because I saw it has already more leaves. You see the really green parts? This is the parts start growing. I just want to concentrate them on one, so I take one off and I leave the more, whoa, the more dominant one. This can go in. Ready? Normally our planting season starts in October after the first rain, and it stops half of December because then it's becoming too cold. But these are cuttings from poplars, and I already potted them up, I think in October, something like that. It has rained a lot the last 2 months, so I think we can take the risk to put them in. This one. These are smaller ones, and these one I want to stay in the pot till October from this year, so they will stay a little bit longer. We will plant these trees here. These are poplars. They need more water than the normal species. And these are old swales already. They are there for I think 3 years now, and they are doing really, really well. So we expect that the soil just below the swale is already with a lot of water. So I think we can take the risk planting these trees over here. But it's a risk. We will see if it will work. Well, he's making a planting hole, and it is on this side of the swale because of course you have here a little bit more water than on this side. But we will do both. I think this side will be no problem at all because this is full of water very, very fast. But the first rain has already a lot of water. And we also will put some a little bit more below. That will take the water that comes from underneath, because if a swale, it gets the water and it infiltrates, and you see then after a couple of years the water slowly goes down and affects the whole area just below the swale. These trees that we planted here a couple of years ago, these are now 3 years here, and we didn't irrigate them the last summer, so we only did this for 2 years, and the last summer they didn't get any extra water, and they are really doing well. And this is also how you use a swale. So you catch the water, and then it infiltrates, and slowly the whole hill, this whole valley will be with much more water than it is normally. Ah, a lot of water. Wow, here you can see what is happening. Some organic fertilizer, and now we will see if the cutting already has some roots. Yes, you see here. Yeah. Then we put some organic material, some mulch around the plant, because it will not dry out so fast, because now it's sunny, and if you have a lot of sun it goes very fast with drying out. So you want to protect the earth. Yeah, this is easy ground. Not a lot of rocks. Normally you can also have that it's one big rock. That was a rock. Another one is coming. You don't want to get them out, all of them, but you need space for the roots to settle. Oh, yes. Put this on top again. Yeah. Ja, of zo halverwege die helling. Kijk, hier zit er even in, kijk hem hier in het midden. Dan staat hij te dicht bij die andere. What you see now is not the normal way how we can make a hole, because normally the soil is really hard, and now because it's wet, we had a lot of rain, so now this is really easy. Normally it's much different. I always, in my mind, I always say, come on, you are a really nice spot. Start growing. If you feel that you are on the right place, please start growing. Always a little bit of gratitude that we can work with nature and we can do it here in this way. So yes, in my mind, I give them my blessings. I'm a little bit crazy. Also with another neighbor, we have the bees on our land on several places. If I can choose between a species who has from trees who has flowers and one who doesn't have, I always take the one who's good for pollinators, because we all know that they can really need some help from us. So that's why we also put the boxes here, but we have everywhere wild bees and all kind of pollinators on the land, and that's what we stimulate. This is one of the native plants from here. You see that it's flowering now, the little green flowers, and it's full of bees already. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's really full of bees. Here you can see the residue from the leftovers from the cover crops from last year. You see that we don't mow them. You see that they are complete dry. There's nothing much in it for giving natural material to the soil, but still it's there. It would be better if you put animals in the system so that they can eat and put their droppings here. But we stopped with the sheeps on our land, because in the summer we don't have anything green here, and you see then that the sheep eat everything, also the small trees that we planted. So then we made the decision that we took the animals out of the system. It's not the best system because animals belong to the system, but at this moment we don't have another solution. So we keep them out, and this is still here. It does something with the root system, opens up the soil, water can go more easy, infiltrate in the soil, but you don't have all the benefits from the cover crops that you normally would like to have, but still you have benefits.
Do the ants play a part? Now they have a very important role. What they do is they take all this organic material into the soil, so they are a really important part of the cycle.
Here in the back you see an almond tree that is dying. That's one of the biggest problems that we have here at this moment. What is the cause? I don't know it for real. At least it is Phytophthora. I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I think it's Phytophthora, I think it's climate change, I think it's less water that we have. I think it's a combination of everything, but you even see it on the hills where it's very steep, where you never had any machines covering. And if you look at the back, you see the light spots over there. These are all elm trees and cork oaks that are dying at this moment. How can we change it? We don't know. We put all kind of things in the ground around it. Till now nothing worked, so I think we need a new generation of trees. We do now direct seeding with the oaks, so we put the acorns directly into the soil. I always put two on top of each other, and I hope that I can fool the javelins, the wild boars, so that they eat the first one and that they leave the other one so that it can grow till a tree. And we hope that the young ones have already developed themselves so much from that Phytophthora, that fungus, that it can survive. But to be honest, the adult trees at this moment, I don't think that a lot of them will survive this disaster. This is one of the new things I want to do for next year. This is Vlommis. This is a plant where they found in the University of the Algarve. They did a kind of an experiment, and they saw that this plant, if you plant them next to a very young oak tree, that they can keep the Phytophthora away. And they think if they put this one next to a young oak tree, then they can keep the Phytophthora away, because Phytophthora doesn't do it very well with this one in its neighborhood. So next summer, you see that it's now already start flowering. These are the flower buds from last year, and they are normally full with seeds. So what I will do after this season of flowering, I will collect a lot of seeds from this plant, and I will put them around young oak trees to protect them maybe to Phytophthora. We will see if it works, but it's always an experiment. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's worthwhile trying it. Here we had 2 oaks, and they were dying, like a lot of the rest of this. And because this species and this species, this kind of mimosa, they have the same mycorrhiza. So I thought if I put a young one, I put it in like this, very close to the old one, I thought the mycorrhiza from the new one, the young one, can help maybe the old one. And in the beginning we saw a difference. We have here 2 oaks. This one was really recovering, got new leaves again, looked a little bit more healthy again. This one was dying. So I thought, okay, experiment works, they help each other. But after 1.5 years, you saw that it was not enough. Leaves were falling off, drying out. But what you saw then at that moment, I put this young tree here and another one over there. And what you saw then is that the mycorrhiza from the young tree, what I was expecting that they would help the old one, but after 1.5 years you saw just the other way around, that the mycorrhiza, I think it was the mycorrhiza from the old tree, were helping the young one, because this one was growing much faster than the other one. And maybe you're a little bit curious why this is here. Well, this is something a little bit crazy. I have to be reminded every time that we work with nature and we can make a lot of plans and ideas, but nature is always the one who has the last word and makes the last decisions. This is a little symbol of the goddess Gaia, and it's the goddess of Mother Nature, and I put them everywhere around. So for me it's a reminder, I work together with nature, but she always has the last goal, not we. She has. So for me it's kind of a reminder we work together.
Now here you see the typical landscape. The Esteva is the pioneer plant who comes as first before all the herbs to re-establish the land. What we do is we cut them with a bush cutter to give more natural material to the land. You could also do it by hand, but we use a bush cutter to mulch them on the land. So we keep the roots in. It gives a new nutrition to the land. So that's the way we use it. But the common practice here, because it's too much work, the common practice is that you use a bulldozer with a disc arrow behind it, and then you go through, and then your Esteva is also gone. That's the same plant, but all the new material, the herbs, all the new plants are also gone, and this means that you put succession back to level 0 and everything has to start all over again. But this is the common practice because, yeah, it's faster to execute, but it's horrifying to see. Deze raak ik nodig om te vullen. You have seen earlier what happens when you clean the land of the Estevas with the bulldozer together with the disc harrow. You rip open the land, all the small plants are gone. So we choose to do this manually with a bush cutter. Normally the bush cutter has this protection, which is very nice to have the protection if you hit stones and everything, that it doesn't hit your legs, but to be honest that doesn't work. Because it's constantly locked into all these bushes. So we decided to take off the protection. Then of course we need some petrol. It's not so nice. We have an electronic ones, but this is not strong enough to do the Estevas. You need this one to protect your face, your ears. And off you go.